The chaplain reached up and disengaged the sealant lock, removing the grim piece of armor and setting it on the altar with a thud. The face revealed was the same as Polixus's, firmly set, dark-eyed, with hair the color of a golden harvest. The similarities went beyond the changes wrought by a Primarch's shared genetics. "Do you remember when I saved the pup from the waters of Icaldon?" the chaplain asked. Polixus remained looking up at him, processing the question. The fact that Castor had removed his helmet broke with the protocol of confession. "I do not," the apothecary admitted eventually. "You know my memories of those days are less complete than yours." Morik the Agrimaster's flockhound had plunged into the river, and its pup had followed, Castor said. "Both were swept away. I pursued them, and you would have followed had father not dragged you back. I managed to reach the pup, but its mother was gone. I could not save them both. A pup is a different matter to a brother of the Fulminata," Polixus began, but Castor raised his hand for silence. "I have only one question for you. Have you come here to confess your guilt to the chaplain of the Fulminata, or have you come to confess it to your blood brother?" Polixus said nothing. "Your silence is an answer in and of itself. You have committed no crime worthy of a confession. The tactical situation was clear, and the Codex supports your actions. Tullio was lost, and the fact that you recovered the daughter of the Delasarios was an achievement that you should look back on with pride. With her gene lock, we were able to access the weapon vault and turn the orbital defenses on the heretics. Had it been the other way around, the entire strike force would have been decimated, and the world of Atari lost. But could I not have recovered both her and Tullio? The Imperium needs warriors now more than ever. The loss of even a single Battle Brothers legacy is a grievous failing. I, alone, am accountable for that. The Imperium needs humanity. That is the very reason that we exist, to preserve mankind and all of its great works. You are right to speak of legacy. You preserved a legacy when you saved that girl. She will never forget that her life was paid for by one of the Emperor's warriors. In all likelihood, she will grow up to be a firm and righteous leader, one ever mindful of the dangers that threaten the Imperium and the warriors that stand ready should she have need." Polixus said nothing as he considered his brother's words. Castor went on. "You are right. A pup cannot be compared to the memory of Brother Tullio. But Agrimaster Morik rejoiced when I emerged from the swell with the dog in my arms. He knew that the future of his flock was secure, and the Imperium's future will be secure too, so long as we make the sacrifices required for victory." Castor serves as a chaplain of the Ultramarines chapter during the era Indomitus. Born upon the world of Ajax alongside his bloodkin Polixus, this spiritual leader of the 13th, though mourning the death of the Garden of Ultramar, found renewed purpose fighting as part of Task Force Fulminata. Armed with his trusty Crozius Arcanum, Salve Imperator, charging into the fray alongside his more cool-headed older brother, these first of the Primaris Space Marines born upon Ultramaran soil gained valor aplenty in the name of the living Primarch. Serving their chapter for over a century of the era Indomitus before reaching the world of Atari, this campaign waged against the Chari Supplicator cult of Chaos would test Polixus's resolve, requiring summary judgment for his actions by his own kin. Aiding Sergeant Nerva's intercessor squad of brothers Presor, Plenus, Ovio, and Quintillus during their search for the planetary governor, Delisario, should the heretics capture Atari's ruler, the orbital gun platforms would be activated, ensuring calamity for the Ultramarines. Defying the advisements of his sergeant to seek out Brother Artemius Tullio upon receiving a warning that his Belisarian furnace had been activated to survive extreme trauma, Apothecary Polixus was permitted only 10 minutes to locate and extract his kinsman's gene seed. Fighting his way alone to the second squad commanded by Brother Tarquin, though Polixus extracted the progenoid glands of Brother Scaevola, Brothers Valent and Sergius advised him that reaching Tullio in the heart of the manor would be near impossible, having survived a swarm of over 100 cultists who slew Scaevola. Stating the Thunderhawk Dromedas would begin extraction maneuvers soon, the second squad rallied at Sergeant Nerva's position, Polixus managing to locate Tullio's body, receiving word over the Vox that Governor Delisario had been killed via an aerial strike. Sighting the governor's daughter nearby the corpse of Brother Tullio, who had clearly perished to save her life, Polixus, with no time to spare, gunned down her abductors, spiriting her to the Thunderhawk in deference to procuring Brother Tullio's progenoid. Venturing to the Chapel of Dioscura within the battle barge Spear of Macragge for judgment, his bloodkin would deem Polixus's actions as justified, having put the mission above that of sustaining Tullio's legacy. the governor's daughter's genetic coding, allowing the Ultramarines to bombard the cultists from orbit, ending the reign of the Chari cult. Though Polixus would never truly eschew his guilt, Chaplain Castor remained resolute that he had made the right decision. Joining Polixus into the fray during their deployment to the hive world of Ikara 9, this planet beset by the Greenskin invasion of Warlord Urgok would prove to be a war zone which would push the Demi Company to its limits. Fulminata led by Captain Demeter as they prepared their advance from the city of Shabbat. Alongside House Duthane and free Astra Militarum groups, 3 days of fighting would presage disaster. Polixus saving the life of a mortal colonel before extracting the progenoids of Brother Avido. As his kinsmen advanced via Shabbat's river, half of the cityscape would be reclaimed in the name of the Imperium. Honoring the deeds of the slain Martian Primaris Space Marine as a vast Orc fleet arrived in orbit, Captain Demeter surmised the full strength of Urgok's war to be too great for a single Demi Company to oppose. Receiving word that Ultramarines reinforcements from Croton would arrive in system too late to repel current engagements, Captain Demeter ordered his men to yield the air to the Orcs as an immense rock transport plummeted under the surface. Deciding to target the Warlord in order to sow disarray into the vast enemy forces should it be slain, Squad Domitian would stage the assault of the rock on the surface in an act of desperation, as Castor inspired the mortal defenders of Shabbat to new heights of bravery. Captain Demeter's foolhardy push into the heart of the enemy proving calamitous, forcing Lieutenant Tyrannus to assume active command in his stead. Castor received word that Polixus had been separated from his squad, thanks to the schemes of a band of Orc commandos. Warlord Urgok prizing Polixus above all due to the unique white panoply separating him from his battle line kin. This beast, afflicted with sickness by its own pain boy, Grok, required a vivisection of the apothecary to glean insight into the healing arts. Castor requesting assistance from Lieutenant Tyrannus, having received word of his bloodkin's capture from Ridge 1 of Shabbat Alpha. Though the acting commander refused to aid him, he would have no power over the chaplain's decision to depart alone. Beseeching the squad of Reavers under command of Sergeant Severus, as the grim death-masked warriors agreed to aid his plight, Castor reflected on the pages of the Lectato Ultramar for guidance. Polixus awakening to find himself within the vandalized Basilica of Shabbat, as the Orcs experimented with his biology, force-feeding him the heart of a fallen battle brother and prizing open his ribcage, Castor's allies ventured into the tunnels below the city. Gleaning insight from Astra Militarum outposts that the Orcs were lacking food, causing them to make brash advances. Though Castor's attempts to conceal his mission from Tyrannus lasted for several hours, eventually, the Ultramarines lieutenant would learn of his clandestine actions. Warning Castor that he would stand trial within Macrag's Reclusium should he survive the ordeal. The chaplain accepted his breach of the Codex Astartes, vowing to face the Master of Sanctity, Ortan Cassius personally, to answer for his actions. Fighting through hordes of mutated squigs as Orc psychers assailed Polixus' mind. Upon Castor locating his brother, Lieutenant Tyrannus' forces laid siege to the Basilica, drawing Urgok into combat. Polixus retrieving the sword of the slain captain, Justicar, as his kinsman aided in his battle against the Warlord. The two reveled in their reunion as true scions of Ajax, fondly recalling their battles waged against the Hrud Xenos and other prior glories. Polixus throwing himself into the brute's weapon arc, allowing Castor to wound the beast. As Harakoni Warhawks and Ultramarines pressed in on the Greenskins, the chaplain disarmed Orgurk of his weapon. The Warlord collapsing as effluvium spilled from its mouth as a result of its continual poisoning by its pain boy. Though the Warlord rose again to sunder Castor, a combat knife strike from Reaver Sergeant Severus ended its reign of terror. The Orc horde plunged into disarray, allowing the recovery of Polixus and now unconscious Severus. In time, Tyrannus would be promoted to the rank of captain, with Ikara 9 secured by the Imperials. A council of the Reclusiam convened to judge Chaplain Castor for his crimes following a report from Tyrannus. Though Polixus beseeched Castor never again to risk his life for his own, his younger brother refused to break one oath in efforts of preserving another. Continuing his purge of Ikara 9 by the side of his bloodkin until the trial upon Macrag could be arranged. None know if Chaplain Castor now lives in disgrace or redemption, following his judgment by the High Chaplain.